Thank you for joining us. I am Crimey Queen. Okay, so I thought I would do a presentation addressing why I say us and then you see just one person. Okay, so us, of course, is plural, many. So I feel going from my journey of self discovery and self realization that I am the embodiment of many entities. Yes, I said it, yes. With separate selves. Yes, I said that too. But on my journey of self discovery, of course, there I have written couple volumes of the Crimson Light to discovering myself, discovering who I am, discovering that makeup, that confused state, and that loving state, that aggressive state, and that harmonious state, and all the different states and all the different spirits or elements that I have experienced over time. Of course, some of the gods were like there was always one god in leadership, if you like, and the other. It's like the battle. It was a constant battle. The Battle of the Gods. Is there a movie like that? Perhaps there is. But the Battle of the Gods, if there is a movie like that, it's really the gods within us. It's played out in the world because there has been a yearning or a shout to understand what happens within us so much that it is shouted out in the external, hoping that people will understand and get it. So, this embodiment that I speak of, and of the entities or the gods, the 14 gods that I, of course, reflected or saw or understood to be present from Genesis of chapter 1 to 3. And this is through my delving. The delving was more reading, but really studying myself from what I was reading, because by then I have understood that what is out is within. What you play out is what happens within. So within, so without. And so the scriptures have been put there to guide us, to help us. They like signposts, or the scenarios or the stories. They have been put in place as I say, signposts to help us remember who you are. The word remember as well seemed very pinnacle in my journey, and through my writing, that's what was coming back to me, was remember who you are. I was getting clear visions of what we understood to be the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve, and I was getting this, and I remember writing and got myself thinking, aha! I had the biggest aha moment when I thought, it's all a game. It's just a game. Now, it doesn't mean that you do not play your role in the game. You are meant to. That's what we are here to do. So it's like each person is helping the other to really understand their path. So you may be playing and acting out your game to understand who you are, but the observer outside of you, which is the other person, they are learning as well. So we are all one, but we are different cells, different selves in this one. So here I am with acknowledging, happily acknowledging that I am of 14 entities. Now, perhaps it was so needed for me, or there was a unconscious knowing that it would be necessary for me to have this signpost that I would come from the lineage or from the womb of 14, where there was 14 of us. So meaning my mother had 14 children. It was necessary that I had to come through that journey where I am the fifth child to understand that number five is really pinnacle. Number five is that change. And it is necessary that I had those signposts to understand the role that I took on, or I signed up for, or I contracted, or this was the where I put my signature. Is like saying I accept or I agree to play those roles, meaning I am a bridge. So basically, I am that bridge. Five is that bridge. It's the number of change. It is takes you from one point to another. If you imagine, oh, like let's just see here. Let's let's get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we have 5 is in the middle of these 4 digits. So we have 1 to 4. We've counted this before, which is 10, comes to 10. And we have 5, 6, 7, I think comes to 30. I almost knocked my chin out. So this is 3. Now, oh, now this is, wow, this is just this is really in line with what I'm trying to say or wanting to say. Not trying, I'm a god embodied with the embodiment of the gods. So I am saying, so basically if we add this together, this is 6 plus 4 is 10. So we have this, so this is 1. And then we have 6, 7, 8, 9. This would be 24 plus 6 is 30. Okay, so we have 3. Now I really am talking, so this means we have 13 here. This is the numbers. The number 13. And this is in line, as I say, with what I want to say, being the embodiment where we say us. Now us is also, here is us, which is US. Of course, this is 3, 1. So talking about the image and the reflection of who you are and who I am, how we observe each other, we can see 31 here and 13. So this is the mirror aspect of us. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 forms the pillars. So these are pillars, these of the foundation that we are building on. Now, the beautiful thing about all this as well is we have all these stories. So we had Osiris, who was chopped in 13 pieces, and Set, the brother or sister would Set as the sister, who went looking for one of the pieces. So and found it. But looking for the pieces and finding them and putting them together, yes, becomes the whole, but do not lose sight of the orchestrator or the person who done the magic work of putting them together. Then it meant that it took another god, or it took the, meaning Set took on the embodiment of all the 13 pieces, or 13 which had formed their gods or whatever it is, and put these together. But Set became, if you like, that god which would be 14. Now, another parallel to this is the story of Jesus Christ with the disciples. So Christ was the embodiment of the 12 disciples. You may ask why or whatever it is, but this is how it is. He was the teacher. He understood their ways, their likes and dispositions, and all of those attributes that they displayed or didn't display. He understood. So he was the embodiment of all of that. He had those 12, put it this way, those 12 plus, sorry, 12, and I'm looking at the eyes, meaning pairs of eyes. He would have those 24 eyes on him, and he had two. He was seeing through his two eyes, not talking about this third eye here, but two, and he had those 24 eyes, if you like. So those 24 plus his two was 26. 26, of course, is the number of God. This is what we learn here. So 2 plus 6 equals 8. And this is what I have spoken on a lot about with 8. Now, of course, if we look at the word set, let's just play it out here. SET 152. When we add this together, gives us 8. So this is set. Now, we may, in my explanation, of course, here, showing that set would have been the 14th, the meaning the 14th God, or in that story. And here we have 26, the eyes with Christ, meaning that is 13 we are talking about, and also coming to number 8. This is also saying to us that we can be going in cycles and circles and circles and circles like this and not fully discover who we truly are. There is a point where we need to break off this, like an egg or like a rubber band. The rubber band, it expands, it gets twisted. You tie or you fasten something with it, but after a while it needs to get busted for you to realize something else. Whatever that is being encased needs to come out. The egg needs to come out of its shell, or something needs to come out of its skin. The word skin as well, SKIN, is also 8. So this is let's just put this, okay. All right, so this is 10, 15, 16, 17. 1 plus 7 is 8. So 17, of course. Now, this, I'm trying not to go too deep into this to make the point of this us ship that I'm wanting to talk about. I use the word us ship. Okay, but it's that when you, so of course I have drawn on two analogies that shows. One is 13, where it's something is set because they were set, who got Osiris the pieces and so on and set something, meaning there was a template formed there. Right there was the template. Now with Christ, Jesus Christ had his this the 14 eyes, the 24 plus his coming together there. That was a set as well, that formed a pattern or a template as well. But Christ, of course, got to the stage where that he knew for his purpose and his realization of who he truly was or who he truly is, had to break off that eight cycle, had to break off the 8, had to break off the edge of the egg to become. And so this is the story where he gets crucified. He is elevated up high enough that all eyes could see him. There we are talking about eyes again, EYES. The I, in fact, is also 8. I am just going to show you this. So I do these presentations intuitively, and I feel that this is the way that we are learning. Now we are being guided to go within, because the gods, they speak through us. And that when we become open and susceptible to their voices, we are able to learn. So this is 575. This is 17. Now, this, of course, 1 plus 7 is 8. So the eyes are set. It is set, it is able, it's as if it is a parameter that is set to see so far, or it has the parameter in which we are able to see. And whether we were talking about the third eye, then the third eye, of course, we see other dimensions. So if we were to even think of Christ with his disciples as well, having from this eye, that would be 13 eyes, of course. And when Christ died, went into the grave, raised up again, then he, of course, became the 14th eye, the 14th God. I hope we are getting this. I know it may sound a little bit strange, but over time and over our lifetime, we know a lot of things were strange when they were new to us, and no longer strange because we are always faced with newness, new understanding, and new learnings. So, I am giving this information to really say, or to really acknowledge, that when I say yes, or sorry, on this channel, I am embracing or speaking of the embodiment of the 14 gods that I am. That I am. So, of course, 14, 1 plus 4 is 5. And when we learn about the story of Moses, when he was asked who, or when he was asking God, well, who should I say this God is? And God, the reply was, it's the I am. I am that I am. If we did the numerical values for I am that I am, it comes to number 5. So I'm trying not to take on too much time with this, because I have repeated this in several videos. I am that I am is 5. The Christ, the word Christ is 5. The word Eve is 5. And so I have also showed how Set is the tongue in the mouth. The mouth is 5 and the tongue is 8, meaning when you break out of the 8, meaning like Mother Eve ate and Adam ate, they broke something. The mouth was what really helped them break that thing, because the mouth actually forms a key. The word key, I'm gonna have to do more than I intended on this. Okay, so they had that mouth and there was the tongue. Okay, so they ate, but this is the tongue. Okay, perhaps we should do a better mouth, but okay, all right. So the tongue is, when we do the numerical value for tongue, is 2, 6, 5, 7, 3, 5. Adding this together, this is 8 plus 8, 16. This is 21, 28. 2 plus 8 is 10. So the tongue is 10, meaning it's the double-edged sword. I said it was 8, but it's that they ate. This is where the word ate or eat, which is the same letters, is this is 5 plus 2 is 7 plus 1, 8. This is where 8 is. So they ate, there's the tongue. The tongue is giving that balance. It is there to create a new cycle. And the mouth, the word mouth, mouth, is 4, 6, 3, 2, 8. This is 10, 23. 2 plus 3 is 5. Is 5. So here we see that the change that you are meant to be, you need to come to the place of realization of being 5. And of course, with the numbers 1 to 5, 1 to 9, sorry, 5 is in the middle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9. Trying to. So we have 5 here. Now on my template, of course, you will see that the word new, N-E-W, from the letters of the alphabet that we have, this also comes to 5, or no, 6 here, but each is 5, N-E-W. So we see that 5 is giving us that newness, and that's what Christ was about. Christ was about bringing something new, or his crucifixion brought something new. That's what Mother Eve was about. By eating of the fruit, was doing something new. So the name is a function. Eve is a function. Christ is a function. Moses is 10. That was the seed of change right there. I think Moses is 10 or 22. Or 8. Moses, let's see. Moses. So it's 4, 6, 1, 5, 1, 10, 15, 16, 17. So Moses got to be 17, which is 8, just like Mother Eve ate. So there was another change, but they had to, of course, didn't he have to get his brother, did he have to go on this long journey with the children of Israel, and being 8, he didn't mean that he would stay still. There had to be movement. They had to break out of the old cycles. That's why they rebelled. That's why there was so much that they went through, because they had to go through the transformation. So it's not by chance that I say I am of 14 children. I am the 5th child. So these were signposts that I put along the way, somehow, somewhere, to help me remember who I am, the embodiment of the 14 gods. And of course, a bridge. That means 5 is the bridge, because being in the middle of 4 letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think I've done this, which is 1. So we have 10, and this is 1. And of course, adding these numbers together, 7, 8, 9, so 6, 7, 8, 9, this gives us 30. So we have 1 plus 3 is 4. We are talking about the 13 gods here. It's an acknowledgement that you have done the whole journey, the whole 9 miles, the whole 9 yards, the whole 9 miles, number 1 to 9. You have done that. The accomplishment of doing that gives you the embodiment of that. So then this is where you become like the term a master or teacher, whatever it is, because you are able to reflect each segment of number 1 to 9. You are able to be one, you can initiate, you can do things, or you don't need someone to start a project with them. You can be two because you understand after a certain point you need to have a partner to help you do things. It will happen much quicker. You can be three, you understand that it needs to be creative. You want windows, you want paint, you want brushes, you want beauty. You can be four, you understand that it will be sturdier with four as a foundation, four pillars. You are five, you are able to see on either side. And of course, I have done like six where you need to be cunning because there's always someone trying to sabotage what you have done or you're about to do. You need to be smart because of just like human beings being created on the sixth day, meant that they or we are the embodiment of all the creatures. This is something that we have not learned or taken on board. We are the embodiment of each creature that we can, and this is where we become fearful of creatures, not realizing that we are part of they are part of who we are. And also seven, this is where of course we learn about resting, but this is where we have this cutoff point as well. We have severed ourselves, we're fearing ourselves, not remembering who we are. There is a cutting that happens. Till in that cutting, this is where we take the negative or positive and we set a template for that which we think is all right. Anyway, I'll leave you with this just to say that thank you for joining us. Okay, and a big shout to all my subscribers, all my viewers, and of course, Central Flight as well. Thank you very much. You've been a big support. I'm thanking you all. Namaste.